Hey everybody, welcome back to Drop a Line. I am your host Alec. I represent One True Promotion. I am the Director of Broadcasting, bringing you our first and foremost broadcast, Drop a Line, where you can get a free interview just by getting in touch with us. We are very excited to be on with you today. Today I am on with the co-founder and Chief Operations Officer of One True Promotion, Mr. Andrew Bast, and we are just going to talk about some great stuff we have in store for you. So let's go ahead and get him on, and we will be in business. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada bing.
What's up?
And see what we got here. Coming on Instagram. Coming on Instagram. 3, 2, 1, and ba, 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 ba.
Just wait.
Hold on. Oh, there we go. Very good, very good. All right, and we're going to bring him on about now. There's our guy. How's it going?
What's up?
All
Make
right.
sure you're muting your end.
Yeah, my computer's muted. Whoa. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, folks. Some technical difficulties. It's all right. It happens. All right. Are we in business now? All righty. What we thinking?
Cool.
How's it sound on your end?
It should be good on mine. I mean, it was muted on the phone, but not the computer.
Yeah, I got my computer muted and my phone on as usual. So, all right. We cool?
Seems like it.
All
Hello,
right.
everyone.
Yes, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Drop a Line. We are the creators and the founders of One True Promotion. I am Alec, the Director of Broadcasting. Andrew, you want to say who you are?
So I am Author Andrew Bast, the Chief Operating Officer or COO of One True Promotion. I'm also the team's literary agent. I'm very proudly working my way up with that resume. Very pleased to have you guys here. I hope you guys have been tuning into our One True Promotion accounts today, because we introduced a huge social media campaign all day this morning, and that went extremely well.
Yes, it did. And do you want to tell everybody what the campaign was about for those who might have missed it?
So the campaign was a get to know me. We did add 2 members to our team, and I thought it was imperative at this point that since we added 2 members to the team, Nick and Carrie, that we do a get to know you exercise, and that's what we did the whole campaign. Every 4 hours, we released a new campaign. I did a whole bunch of graphics for it, and everything is up on the story. You can also check One True Promotion and our personal accounts for the updated information as well. Also, quick reminder, we are live on Facebook on 3 accounts, and we are live on YouTube. So if you are watching from a YouTube or Facebook account, remember that you can comment at any time, and we can put your comment on the screen here at StreamYard.
That's right. Well said, my friend. Well said. Yes, we are very, very excited to have our friend Nick and my girlfriend Carrie join us as members. Congratulations, Nick. Congratulations, Carrie. You two are amazing. Thank you so, so much for supporting the brand, for propelling us as far as we are. We really could not have done it without you, and we are very, very excited to have you on board. Before we go any further, I would like all of you to know, those of you who are with us on Instagram, please follow at NickGeoArts on Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the comment section.
And for those of you on Facebook and Instagram, you got that scrolling on the bottom there.
Yep. We have one question already. Can I join the team? From Guitar 1136. We are always looking to expand.
Do you want to work in?
That's right. We're always looking to expand. It's a matter of departments. And real quick, I just shared Nick Geo Arts on Instagram, and real quick, I'm going to share at Tangible Voices Podcast, which is Carrie. Please do follow Carrie's podcast. It is amazing. It is absolutely critical, and it is a huge service to our society, and it is very, very, very well put together and narrated. And I could not recommend it more if you put a gun to my head. So definitely follow. And please do look at One True Promotion on Instagram and Alec Author and Andrew Bast 24 on Instagram, because that's where all the news is being posted first. You get the first look at all the new buzz if you follow us. So Andrew, my friend, I didn't prepare anything for tonight, so I'm just going to ask you offhand. How you doing?
Doing really well. Been running around a lot today. Had a lot of things to do. I'm hoping to get some writing done sometime tonight. Maybe start a bonfire. Just relax for a bit. It's been a very interesting last few days. I've been working on a lot of graphics, intros. Like you guys should notice that new intros have been playing. We did one for the start of the show, and for those of you that are just tuning in, make sure you're checking out the intro and outro in our other videos, because they look fantastic. I'm very proud of the way they turned out. And you're going to see a lot more technology basically being used going forward, especially with StreamYard. StreamYard, I'm getting really good at. So you're definitely going to see an increase in quality in all of our shows.
That's right. I could not agree more. We are going to see... We're going to see continued improvement here on Drop a Line and on live readings as well. We have a lot more projects that we are starting for this Tuesday. We are doing the final episode of season 1 of Hit, her title of Progress. For those who have been watching, it will return in the future, but for now we are going on hiatus. Here on Alec Author, you will see live readings and Drop a Line continue through the summer and into the upcoming year on a weekly basis. Reach out for your interviews if we are going to be going all year long on Drop a Line. Reach out to your work, your live readings, you might like send excerpts, live read, if you reach out to me. The best place to send live your work live read to me is alec@gmail.com. It's the best place where I gather my information and nice little list. So that is literally the best place for me to get it. Please send it there. Whatever I see in my Gmail, I'm going to read on the show. So all you got to do is send it to me and get that am I forgetting something, Andrew?
Don't forget that tomorrow at 8 o'clock is writing sprints. It's going to be a 2-hour writing sprints. I'm not sure if I have a guest at the moment. If so, it'll probably be Nick. But I can very well run solo for 2 hours or bring somebody else on. If you're an artist and you are looking to show off your work on a live stream, please feel free to reach out to me or reach out to Nick Geo, our art coordinator, our director of art and media, and we can get you on writing sprints. And writing sprints have been sort of taking off lately. I'm very excited to keep doing that.
Absolutely. Writing sprints, writing sprints are great. You want to tell us a little bit about how that idea came about?
So I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitch, and just keep in mind too, if anyone is just joining us from Facebook or Instagram, you can write comments right there in the chat, and we can actually display it on screen. which is really cool. So if you are watching through YouTube or Facebook, please be sure to drop a comment so we can test it out. Have yet to really get to test it out, so really want to do that. Writing sprints is something I saw on Twitch and I saw on YouTube. A lot of authors were trying to engage their fans by encouraging them to write alongside them. So when I saw that, I figured that it might be a cool way for me to hang out with the community and to engage the community in a creative way. And you don't have to be a writer to do writing sprints. You can come on, you can do art, you can do homework, you can read. It's really just all of us coming on and holding each other accountable for the projects that we start on air. And more importantly, it's a safe space for anyone to sort of come on and if they're confused about something, whether it's the writing process or their project, they can actually communicate to the chat, and the chat can provide free promotional advice and workshopping advantages.
We got an offer to join. No sooner do you pitch in than we got an offer to join.
There you go.
How about it, Cheyenne? You want to join for tomorrow? We got writing coming up tomorrow. Friday night. Behind the scenes, Andrew will be running the show. You'll be ready to join. Make it nice and lively and engaging.
Yeah, it's gonna be really weird because I'm used to being the person who's sort of behind the scenes and like running the show and doing the show. So it's gonna be a little bit of an adjustment for me, for sure.
Yeah, I mentioned because I could go backwards a little bit. Back in the beginning, in the long ago, there wasn't a lecture promotion when there was just Alec asking somebody Andrew to come to Orcon with him. You were literally the best help I could have possibly asked for. You all my books into those events for me. You marketed me to the table. You met with me and you discussed ideas for how I could improve. And eventually, what happened was, as you began to pursue your own passions, we suddenly became a partnership. We were sitting on the beach one day in August, talking about things we wanted to do individually and for each also we wanted to do individually, and how we could help out. And I said to you, okay, so I'm just going to do this to you real quick. And then by the end of the day, we had one for promotion, and we're not only did we have an aim, we kind of humorously sat around on the beach, trying to accomplish that. We started with some more of the puns, which was pretty cool. But by the time we were driving home, not only, Andrew, did we have a working title for our brand, but you, by the end of that very day, already had a whole lot of dreams about how this brand could be useful to the community surrounding ours. So really, it really is something that was invented by both of us, because it was my idea, it was my suggestion, but you immediately adopted it into this, brand that just had this ability to reach out to our community. And that's exactly what we're doing today. And for you, correct me if I'm wrong, but for you, I think it's been kind of catalytic, because in the process of doing this work, you really have discovered a passion for being a literary agent. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so basically a literary agent is someone that an author hires to sort of pave the way for them to get published. So a lot of times, if you're looking to expand your brand and to get noticed, you hire a literary agent, and they usually take care of all the creative things like finding you events, making sure that your branding is on point and consistent, and also making sure that your books are getting out there, the word's getting out there, and that you're selling the books. And usually when you enter traditional publishing and you don't have a literary agent, your publisher takes up a lot of the responsibilities of a literary agent. But sometimes, like in Alec's case, of course, if sometimes when you do traditional publishing, if you're not the number one talent on the roster, so to speak, they don't have the dedication or the funds to do that for you. So you might have to hire a literary agent to represent you on the side.
That's right. That's right. Yep. Yep. A publisher is an office. A publisher has a lot of people working at that office, and if you are not the primary draw, you're not the primary moneymaker, it is highly possible that you will, as you were saying, be faced with, this situation of, well, now I got to do something to improve my brand on my own. How am I going to do that? So, and, really having you as my literary agent, unofficially, as we're both learning this process, has really been such a gift, because you really have done just a splendid job supporting me and promoting me. And, I hope that my prayer every day is that I've, been able to do the same for you. And, and there's things with the One True Promotion brand that I'm learning as well. But I'm very happy to, be almost a year into this partnership with you now. It is the end of June. We're headed into July. One True Promotion was born last August of 2019. We are fast approaching the 1-year anniversary of the day Andrew and I forged this partnership. Not the day that One True Promotion launched, mind you, but the day that we decided on this partnership and made the commitment to do so. We've made it a year so far, and already we have a 4-person team at the end of the first year. So One True Promotion really has grown extensively in the time that we've been here. Hey, Carrie, thank you for joining us. Cheyenne, it's great to have you here. Thank you all so much for joining us. By the way,
are they commenting on Instagram?
On Instagram, we are getting comments. Yes, we got a couple of comments. Just so everybody knows, if you are on Instagram or if you are on Facebook or even if you're watching on YouTube, if you leave us a comment, we will answer it. On YouTube, we'll probably answer it after the show is already done. We will answer your questions in the comment section.
Technically, we can answer them right now. Like, see, there's a comment just came in, and once a comment comes in, I just press this fancy button here, and we got a question from Haley, my sister. Just to let you know, my screen is echoing.
Interesting. But yes, if you are watching the show on any outlet right now, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, please do leave us a comment if you are new to the show, and we will answer it. You can ask us questions. You can ask about the brand. You can ask about our books. You can ask us a general question, what we've been up to, what we're doing this summer. Whatever you want to ask. If you would like to participate in the show, we encourage you to do so. Drop a Line is all about just, featuring the guest and getting to know the audience a little bit. So, again,
is the stream echoing now?
He is the author.
Is the stream echoing now?
Yeah, on my end, nothing's been echoing.
On mine, nothing's been echoing.
I have my phone on.
On mine, nothing's been echoing either. Haley, is it still echoing?
Does anybody want to?
Haley, is it still echoing?
Yeah. And if anybody has an echo or some kind of technical error, could you please let us know, because this is one of our first times simulcasting, and we're just kind of working out the kinks. So
it says yes. It says yes. It's still echoing.
Yeah, that is interesting. There we go. Here we go. And answering some comments. So yes. By the way.
So I'm echoing.
Thank you for joining us, everybody who is joining the stream right now. If you are joining on Instagram, you are joining the show live at the source. If you are joining on Facebook, you are watching the show on our simulcast.
So it's working now. Okay.
Yeah. You are watching on our simulcast if you are joining us on Facebook or YouTube. And if you are joining us on Facebook, you may leave us a comment on Facebook. If you are joining us on YouTube, you may leave us a comment on YouTube. And if you are joining on Instagram, you may leave us a comment there as well. We love to hear your feedback. We love to answer your questions. We are the creators of One True Promotion, and One True Promotion is all about promoting you. If you are an artist out there, if you are an author, if you are an actor, anything, if you have something that you want to promote, especially if it is something artistic, we are the brand for you. We will promote you free of charge. We will have you on the show for an interview. We will feature your work on our live reading show on Tuesdays at 7. You can join us on writing sprints on Friday nights, where we can just sit on the air and write together and hold each other accountable. These are just 3 of the services that One True Promotion offers to everybody. So, Andrew, I have to ask you, for those who might not know you, what would you say were the 3 biggest goals that you accomplished this past year, this past season?
So I completed the NaNoWriMo 50,000 word challenge in what was it? Just 7 days. I can't remember what the exact.
I think it was about 7 days. I think this meant, for those of you who don't know, NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, is self-explanatory. You write a novel in 1 month. It has to be a 50,000 word minimum. This guy down here, and if you're watching on Facebook, then it's this guy over here. This guy down here and over here wrote 50,000 words in 7 days. Sorry, Andrew, continue.
Yeah, so that what I say is probably my biggest accomplishment. I clocked in the most pages I've ever written and the most words I've ever written in 1 week, and then of course my goal was to get Sanguinary Song, my debut novel, to a point where I could publish it, and a year later, or just a little over a year later, I actually did in fact publish the book. So I would say those would be my 3 biggest accomplishments.
And those really are great accomplishments, my friend. And you know what I love about your story? I've told you this a couple of times on your previous appearances, so it's part of the redundancy. But what I love about your story is that you were, only a year before all of that, you were sitting in the position of wondering if you were ever going to do this, if this dream was possible, if it was worth the time, if it was something realistic. You were asking yourself all those questions, and yet 1 year later, not only did you didn't just complete 1 goal, you went on a process to basically become a published author, brand maker, and literary agent, pretty much all in 1 shot. I mean, we just passed the anniversary of the beginning of your 365-day challenge, but truly, I mean, it's still it still baffles me that you have your story is so powerful to me, because basically you just got up one day and you made a change and it brought you to where you are. And I think that is something that is quintessentially inspiring to folks in our surrounding artistic community.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy thing to do, to sort of just say, I'm going to do this and do it well for a whole year. But I think the driving force behind it was that something had to change. I couldn't keep feeling the way I was. I couldn't keep writing the way I was. It was a very eye-opening moment for me personally, because it's one of those things where you get to a point where you ask yourself, did you take the right path? Did you do the right things? And I think I needed in that moment that reassurance that yes, all the time that I spent on that craft was worth it, and that I actually do have some sort of resemblance of talent for it.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. I just want to address the comments real quick. I see a lot of writers and artists joining us tonight on the show. Thank you for being here. Welcome, welcome. We hope you are enjoying. We are One True Promotion. We promote your brand for free. Follow me at Alec Pangea Author, and I will put you in the running to join us for a free interview on Drop-A-Line, or to send an excerpt of your work for a free live read on Live Readings. That is our Tuesday night show at 7. I keep in contact with all of the authors on my Instagram feed in a group chat where we discuss Drop-A-Line and Live Readings, and where I put up reminders that today's a day you can send your excerpt to alecpangea@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me for an interview. So if you're joining us for the first time and you are a writer and you're looking for some free promotion, please do follow me at Alec Pangea Author. Please do follow Andrew at Andrew Bast 24. And please do follow us at One True Promotion on Instagram. That is the first place you can hear from us. And yeah, we would love to feature you if you're joining us tonight. You know, we want to promote your stuff. We want to reach out and do good work together. So thank you all for being here. And if you have a comment or question you would love to leave for us, please do so. That's if you're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. That's all good. So, Andrew, my next question for you is, what would you say were your so for those who are new, give maybe like a quick summary or a long summary if you want. We got time. But give us a little summary of what Sanguinary Song is about, and maybe tell us a little bit about your inspirations that kind of molded you into the writer that you are.
Yeah, so Sanguinary Song is a supernatural thriller about a witch named Christina and her experiences with a coven that fights fight or defend the world from supernatural creatures. A lot of inspirations really came from a wide array of things. I would say first and foremost, Alien was a huge inspiration in one of my monster making quests, so to speak. If you guys definitely have read at least the first part of Sanguinary Song, then you probably know who I'm referring. But definitely Alien was a huge inspiration there. I also think that other inspiration came from other things in this genre, things like supernatural, Angel, Buffy, Vampire Diaries. I can keep going on and on and on. Underworld. It's just there's so many different things that I kind of watched, especially things like Vampire Diaries and Supernatural, and I watched how they did things, and they would always stick to the traditional lines. And by that, I mean they would use the traditional lore. They would stick to the traditional lore. Vampire Diaries especially was really good with this. They, vampires, they, unless they had a specific ring, they couldn't be out in sunlight unless they were a special vampire. If they were stabbed with a wooden stake, they would die. Pretty much they stuck to those rules. And one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to create an authentic experience, but I wanted to take it a step further. I wanted to have my characters and my monsters be familiar to you, but at the same time be absolutely different. I wanted you to see sort of my creation and my interpretation of the genre and the creatures within it.
Absolutely. That's one of my favorite things about the Sanguinary Song. I've had the pleasure of reading the book already pre-publication, and I think that it is a book that doesn't waste a word, doesn't waste a moment, really carries through on a storyline that is an adrenaline rush from beginning to end, but also leaves enough time for us to care about the characters, to see how they come to care for each other, and to I said this in my review that I posted on Amazon. I'm hopeful that the review actually posted. But it actually kind of amazed me that in this day and age, there were parts of your book where a certain creature or character from old lore would show up, and I was actually, despite the fact that I know all of these characters previously, I was actually surprised. There actually are many moments in your novel that are genuine surprises. It's like, whoa, well, that's cool. But it really, in a way that really feeds into the story too. It never, doesn't waste a thing. You ever heard of Chekhov's gun?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that's been in my head ever since I saw The Last Jedi. That was when I learned about it, coming out of The Last Jedi. Right. Because that was when it very much became a talking point in certain circles, Star Wars circles, for there being a couple guns on the wall in Force Awakens, and then they turned out to be just guns on the wall in The Last Jedi that were going to stay on the wall. It was it was an interesting thing to learn about, but really I was very impressed by the fact that your story was in some ways familiar to me. in some ways totally surprising to me, but it all served to feed into the stories of the characters and the collective story they were telling together by the final chapter. And I got to say, the thing that I look for anymore these days when I'm reading a story is, does it have a good ending? Like this whole journey you bring me on, does it bring things home at the end? Does it give me something to, relate to, or something that resonates? And I definitely felt a rush of emotions. No spoilers given on Drop a Line, but I definitely felt, let's say, a rush of intense emotions reading the final chapter of Sanguinary Song.
I remember writing it too when I was at Boy State, and I remember being only 2 chapters away. I think it was like day 73 to 75 or something like that. And I remember I got extra time to sit down and write those 2 chapters, and I remember the emotion that poured over me as I wrote through those chapters. And I remember when I got to the final words of that manuscript, I texted you and I said, I'm really feeling it. And that's something I really can't say that I did in previous incarnations of the ending of the manuscript before. I mean, I think I rewrote the ending when it was previously called Fear at least 3 times, and the ending was entirely different. The story was entirely different, and while it was cool, and why I think people might have been happy with it, I wasn't happy with it, and deep down I knew that if I was unhappy with it, then others could be too. So I redid everything. I really thought and put a lot of effort into the ending, why it ends that way, how does it connect to the next book. All these things go into it. Like everything had to be careful. I had to make sure I wasn't stepping on my toes, so to speak, in this world that I have now built for myself. This completely unique, and I really mean that, unique mythology that you just won't see, especially in other genres. And I think one of the things that I do differently than other authors is I use traditional names. Like throughout the manuscript, you'll see names that you'll never even heard of, or that are familiar with you, but you're like, that's not spelled correctly. And yes, it is. And I think the big one that I'm referring to. And people look at it and they're going to be like, but I've seen this name my entire life, and it's never been spelled that way. But it's not the traditional spelling of the person's said name.
Right. Yes, don't obey pop culture, folks. That's one of the biggest things you learn once you start looking into things. But since we're on the subject, you said something that intrigued me, and I think that the audience would probably really love to know about this. By the way, if there's something that our conversation you're really curious about that our conversation isn't touching upon, please do leave it for us in the comment section, and we will answer that for you. Anyway.
What is going on with the comment section? Because it's not showing up on my screen. Are people like legitimately asking questions? We just haven't gotten to them yet, or?
No. We're not ignoring any questions. People are sending you congratulations appraisal on Instagram, on Facebook. I've been monitoring, and we haven't had a question in a little while since the technical issue. I'm checking on yours and mine. So no, we're pretty. I just see that people are coming on, and I'm encouraging them, since I see a lot of them are new. A lot of new usernames tonight. I'm very, very excited, and I'm just letting them know that if they want to know something, they can ask us. But my question for you was going to be, so you're writing a series. Sanguinary Song is the first of a series, and I'm a series writer myself. So I'm curious to get your input on this. And we've talked about this sporadically over the years, but this will be the first time we talk about it publicly. So brace yourself. But how do you decide where your series, begins and ends? How do you decide how many books? How does it come together in your mind? The exact scope of the story.
Well, coming from the person who changes the number of a number of series books within a popular series that he's writing that I really like and can't wait for him to put out. I
felt very attacked. Sorry, I had to go.
No, it's for me, it was always I kind of section things off. It's like, okay, well, this part of the series belongs to this this area, and then it's like the next part of the series belongs here, and it all leads up to this. And to be completely honest, I don't even know how many books are going to be in this series at this point. I would have probably said 5 before, but when I first reimagined Sanguinary Song, I originally planned out 6 books, and then that went down to 5 because I merged the first and second books together. So what you read in Sanguinary Song was legitimately a remastered version where I combined books 1 and 2 and changed really big key details. But in just the process of writing book 2, I've already named the book, and I've already decided that I can no longer use that name, and now it'll have to be the book 3. So I've already gained a book just by writing book 2, and the way that's sort of transpiring. So I think you start with a general premise, and I feel like once you get 2 or 3 books in, then you know. If you already know it's going to be a trilogy, I think that's the easiest thing in the world, because you know when you have to end it. If it's a series book, traditionally it goes past 3, and that's where I think you really get an idea of where this book is going and how many books are left, is once you hit book 3 and you're like, all right, well, here's what I've done and here's what I need to do.
That's right.
How many books is it going to be required to get from point A to point B? And, at least with a series, you have a little bit of leeway. It must be much harder, going from, a trilogy to a series, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's actually a process that I'm on right now. I'm wrapping up one trilogy, and then I'm going straight into a series. And it's a series that, as you have pointed out, very hurtfully, has changed the number of books in it many, many times, because I have obsessed for years over knowing the ending of this thing. And I've also obsessed with, cutting down the content of each piece so that there's no wasted scene, there's nothing excessive or extraneous. And that's why the number kind of keeps rising and falling, because then, despite the fact that you've done this and you've said, I'm just going to write this many parts, and these are the things that are going to happen, period. The next thing that happens is, as you are writing it, your free writer comes out a little bit, and then, it could be something as simple as writing a sentence you never expected to write, and that leads you to another thought. And now you're thinking to yourself, well, if I explored this a little bit more, and it could kind of figure into things this way, and now all of a sudden you're considering a whole separate book. So I definitely have been frustrated with myself for changing my outlines so many times. In some ways it has helped me, in some ways it hasn't, and I've been a little bit frustrated with myself. I find your advice very interesting, that once you're 2 or 3 books in, you have an idea of where it's going to end. I think that's very fascinating, because you're starting to kind of grasp the momentum of the piece of the series at that point. Or at least that's how I'm interpreting what you're telling me.
Well, I mean, it's more or less the first 3 books are establishing the world and establishing the major setup of the book series.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're doing a series, like I said, you're at least 3 books. Mm-hmm. And it's like book 4, you might be wrapping it up, or book 5, you might be wrapping it up. But in a trilogy, it's like you have to establish the whole world in book 1. Then in book 2, you have to do something a little bit different to make it stand out. And in book 3, you got to find a way to tie it all together.
That's right. That's right. Very true. So now I'm going to ask you an A or B question. So I so far have completed 2 books in my first trilogy, and you are well on your way through your second. So I'm going to ask you, what's better? Writing book 1, moving on to a new series, and coming back to book 2 later, or writing book 1, and the day after you finish book one, or even the same night you finish book one, going straight into book two? What do you think?
I'm going to say you wait is probably the best option. And the only reason why I say that is when I finished book one, at least in my experience, I was so overwhelmed with emotion for finishing it and realizing that I actually had the finish that I wanted. It's almost like if you're I'll use a football example. So Peyton Manning, for example, a very famous quarterback, retired with the Denver Broncos after winning a Super Bowl, right? Peyton Manning comes out, he wins the Super Bowl, and he retires on a high note, right? So essentially the way I felt about it is after struggling for so long, I finally won the Super Bowl, right? I finally had the manuscript that was going to get published. So, you ask yourself, what do you do at that point? Do you keep going, or do you, sort of ride off into the sunset? And for me, it was important for me to distance myself and to sit back and actually appreciate what I just did. Especially since book two, it has a little bit of a different feel to it. To just jump right into book two after you finish book one, I don't think it has the same effect personally, because you don't give yourself time to sort of de-escalate what just happened, especially if you have like a cliffhanger for a book, for example, because you have this big cliffhanger, and now you got to learn how to justify it and how to sort of change pace right away.
That's right. It's true. And for me, it was I started living in fear pretty much the next night after I finished Barker's Rules, the first draft. And in my new series that I'm writing, I came to the end of the first draft, and I just knew what the next scene was already. So I strolled right into book two after that, and I had a pretty good writing session. I just wrote what the character was doing the day after. But in both of those books, once I got to about the middle of the book, I started having problems. I started having problems where I wasn't quite grasping the full scope of the project just yet. So for me, it's very similar to what you said. It was, I'm very ready to write the next few chapters after book one. But after that, we start to get into this territory where, hold on, I need to find my footing here. By the way, we do have some Instagram comments coming in. Poetry by Scott points out to us, or be like Robert Jordan, write whatever you want and end up being 14 books in and dying in the process.
Yeah.
And Carrie says, Scott, 100%. I don't know who Robert Jordan is or what we're referring to. Does anybody want to tell me about that? Do you know what that reference is to?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up right now, actually. Robert Jordan.
But apparently he has 14 books and he's killing.
Oh, he wrote the Wheel of Time series.
I mean, like the only person I can really compare that to would be Bernard Cornwell and The Last Kingdom, because he's got 13 as of October. So.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget about our boy George R. R. Martin, who wrote 5, almost 1,000-page volumes, and just did a hard stop in 2011 between books 5 and 6, and actually let his TV series end without him, which is kind of unprecedented, I think.
Yeah. It's funny too, because I saw a thing on Facebook where he was like, "Yeah, I finally determined that the last book will be finished by 2021."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see about that. So I really do want to read it, though, because I actually did enjoy his books, and I know whatever he comes out with, I'll probably enjoy a whole lot more than what we ended up getting in the last season of the show. So
yeah,
where they tried to do the impossible and tie a bow around something that, in my opinion, just wasn't ready to end yet. And that kind of brings us into an interesting new discussion topic, though. Do you think that setting an ending to your series too early, right? And well, it's kind of hard to tell in case by case what too early might be. But if you set an ending for your story before you've gotten to books 2, 3, or 4, like you were saying, do you think you run a high risk of doing it disservice with how you wrap things up?
100%. And it's like I wrote four books in the Sanguinary series before I changed everything. So I was already 4 books deep into it, and I was close to that ending, because originally I planned 6 books and I was 4 out of 6 books in. And you look back on certain details and it's like, okay, well, this person has this, and then you look deeper into it and it's like, wow, I just violated my own plot holes, so now you got this big plot hole to handle, and it's like, all right, well, now how do I fix it? And sometimes it's better to just reconstruct, and it's almost easier to take it one book at a time and really make sure that it's what you want, instead of just picking right off. And I think that was the big difference between Sanguinary Song and Fear. Is Fear, when I finished one book, I jumped right into the next. Sanguinary Song, I took the summer off. Once I finished, I did something else. I went and did short stories for the entire summer. And then I picked up with Sanguinary, or book 2, in the fall. And, I focused on other projects as well as editing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we do have a lot to focus on here. We are running toward the end of the show for the night. We got about 10 minutes left. A lot of people are joining us on Instagram tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so very much. We would love to hear your questions. We would love to hear your comments. Even if we, have to answer them after the show, that'd be totally fine. And we are going to be, Andrew is going to be live again tomorrow for writing sprints, where you can just join him for his live stream and come bring your homework, or bring your book, or bring your notebook that you do art in, and just work alongside him while he live streams out to you. And One True Promotion is always active. We're always engaging, so come hang out with us. Andrew, my last question for you for this evening, before I ask you for your promotions and tags and all that, is, since becoming the chief operations officer of One True Promotion, how has that affected your daily writing schedule? What challenges has that come with?
There's definitely been an upending of my writing as of late, and it's really just because a big part of it, like you see on screen, if you're watching from Facebook or you're watching from YouTube, you see the changes. Unfortunately, Instagram, I can't really do too much with you guys just yet, because StreamYard is not compatible with Instagram at the moment. But with YouTube and Facebook, if you follow us on Alec and Andrew on YouTube, you can look up One True Promotion, drop a line, writing sprints, whatever. And you can see all the production that goes into the show now. And, we got tags at the top. We have our names on screen. We have banners that flash all the way through. We have graphics that we show up. We have intros and outros. We've got a whole bunch of bells and whistles. And a lot of that has been me sort of learning a lot of the behind the scenes stuff and making graphics for the show and making video packages. So that is really, really time consuming. So it's like, if I get an hour a day to write anymore, that's really been what I've been looking at, is just about an hour a day, which is significantly less than what I'm used to doing. But it's really just a matter of me trying to make this product better for all of you. And once I have everything set up, a lot of it speaks for itself, and then it's just about maintaining instead of setting up.
That's right. And you really do a tremendous job behind the scenes. This brand really would not survive without you at this point. You have, picked up the slack in all of my moments where I was pulled away and, unable to juggle everything at once. So really, you have kept this thing afloat, and, we really wouldn't be here without you. So a big hand for you, my friend. You've done a tremendous job this year. One True Promotion is alive and breathing because of you and growing every day. And For those of you who are joining us and, giving us views and giving us engagement, One True Promotion is alive because of you. To Nick and to Carrie, who came on board and are our new team members, One True Promotion is better than ever because of you. So thank you all for being here. Andrew, before we go, do you have any closing comments or remarks?
Yeah, so my book Sanguinary Song is out. I got it right here. You guys can go on Amazon and pick it up. Hold it up higher for Instagram.
Looking
And
good.
I got it popping up on a screen for YouTube. So we got the dual process going. But my book Sanguinary Song is out on Amazon. It's $13.99 on for paperback, and it's $3.99 for ebook. It's selling really well for a first-time book. Over 76 copies sold at this point. So we're getting close to my original yearly goal, which is 100. I wanted to sell 100 books by the end of the year, and within 3 weeks, I'm almost there. So if you haven't bought it yet, please go buy it. It's Amazon.com. Look up Andrew Bast, B-A-S-T, or type in Sanguinary Song.
Andrew, congratulations on all that you've accomplished. We will definitely be seeing you again on Drop a Line and on our other streams as well. You will definitely be seeing Andrew and I both much more if you are following the One True Promotion brand. Thank you all for being here on Drop a Line tonight. This does conclude our show. Andrew, thank you for being here. Everybody go follow him. Buy his book. It's good, I promise. Good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.